My name's Colin. I live most of my time at the moment in South Africa, and I was born and brought up in Botswana, and that was I suppose, the formative aspect of my life. I grew up in the bush, as we call it there, which is another name for the wilderness. My father is an anthropologist, archaeologist, ethnologist, and I spent a lot of my childhood traveling with him, and meeting people from various indigenous cultures in southern Africa, and developed an interest in what they do and who they are. And from a very early age, I was drawn to people who lived in ways and practiced in ways that made sense to me. And you know, this whole process that we're doing, as it stands now, has come out of the writings mainly of Thomas Berry. And when I read his material, The Great Work was the first book I read. It made a huge amount of sense to me, and it concurs very strongly with what the basic understandings of traditional cultures are. And that understanding is that this globe as a whole is a place where all those who inhabit it share in the process of life. And this starkly differs with the Western mechanistic view, where we've come to believe that human beings are the dominant species on Earth, and that everything else is a resource for use by that species for its well-being and existence, and that it's a question of us managing that. And when we talk about a sustainable future, we talk about it being able to sustain that scenario. So we want to have resources forever, and clearly, I mean, this is not the way. It's not the way the world works, in my view. And indigenous cultures understand that the relationship between self and other, and the relationship between humanity and environment, are extremely important and need to be understood very clearly in terms of reciprocity, and the understanding that a human being cannot survive without the natural environment. We've taken a path that is irreversible, and as such we have to sit down and really look at and assess in a very real way how it is that we're going to dream our future, how it is that we're going to move forward in a way that is not just sustainable, but a way that is deeply workable, in a sense. And for that we have to begin to re-look at the way we think in a really radical way, because the way we think ultimately is creating the scenarios that we experience at this point in time. And any change which doesn't address the very deepest element of our way of thinking and our way of identifying ourselves is purely cosmetic. My most fundamental feeling is that, and I do tend to come from the bias of a kind of an indigenous cosmological viewpoint on this, but my feeling is that we as human beings have stripped ourselves of a lot of the processes, understandings, techniques, methods, if you like, of connecting ourselves with the whole. And the result of that has created a deep pathology of fear. And we tend, I believe, in terms of our Western way of operating, to operate from this deep pathology of fear. We're in desperate need as a humanity of some kind of therapy. We need to really look at who we are. We really need to look at what it is that is at the basis of our decision-making process, and come to some real clarity about that, before we're ever going to really answer the broader, deeper questions of how we're going to survive as a species, and how this world is going to survive as a planet of, as a biosphere, if you like. Yeah.